and this is part 4. Please take out your Oxford Reading Circle book, page number 64. So by the time what have we seen, what has happened? It is that Romeo and Juliet, they got married, and after getting married, when Romeo was coming from he was walking in the streets of Verona, he finally comes across Tybalt, and Tybalt, by seeing him, Mercutio and Benvolio, was enraged and they started fighting. Mercutio was slain, and this made our Romeo very much angry, and he killed Tybalt. Okay, so let's start with that portion from where Mercutio fell down. So, receiving the death wound, Mercutio fell down. Mercutio being dead, Romeo kept his temper no longer. They fought till Tybalt was slain. Slain means killed. The news of this deadly brawl quickly brought a crowd to the spot, and among them old Lord Capulet and Montaigne with their wives. Soon after arrived the prince himself, who, being related to Mercutio, whom Tybalt had slain, came determined to put the law in strict force against those who should be found to be the offenders. Now what has happened? This news that Romeo had killed this Tybalt, this news was spread all over, and everyone had come in, including the prince himself, who was related to Mercutio. Now Mercutio, though was killed by Tybalt, actually in this case Romeo was also involved in the fight, which led to so many problems. So he made a rule, the strictest rule, that whatsoever happens, those who are the offenders would be having a very strict law against them. Benvolio was commanded by the prince to relate the origin of the phrase. So Benvolio, another friend of Romeo, he was ordered to tell the story, which he did, keeping as near the truth as he could without injury to Romeo. Lady Capulet, in extreme grief for the loss of Tybalt, exhorted the prince to do strict justice upon his mother. Now, as Tybalt had died, the Lady Capulet, she said that, I'm sorry, not the queen, it's the Lady Capulet, she asked for the proper punishment and the justice should be given to Tybalt, and there should be proper punishment to Romeo, who had slain, whom she called the murderer. Thus she pleaded against her son-in-law. Thus, whatever she is doing, she is unaware of the fact that she is actually going against her son-in-law, that is Romeo. But she knew not that he was Juliet's husband. She did not know that he was none other than Juliet's husband. On the other hand was Lady Montaigne, pleading for the child's life. On the other hand, it was Lady Montaigne who was pleading for the child's life. The prince, unmoved by passionate exclamation of these women, pronounced his sentence and banished Romeo from Verona. So he banished Romeo from Verona. When the tidings reached Juliet, when all these informations came to Juliet, she at first gave away to rage against Romeo. She was very angry. Gave away to rage. This means get angry on. So she got angry on Romeo for slaying her own dear cousin. She called him a beautiful tyrant. She called him a beautiful tyrant, ravenous dove. Very important lines. Lamb with wolf's nature. She thus gave many other names to him. She called him beautiful tyrant yet beautiful, ravenous. Raven is a bird which is a which has got evilness, very cruel. So ravenous dove, which is very beautiful. Lamb with wolf's nature. Lamb is a meek creature. Wolf is a clever and much more dangerous. So all this she called, but in the end, love got the mastery. But at the end, love got the mastery means what? She was unable to keep herself away from Romeo, and she asked, and she forgot everything. She shedded her tears for grief that Romeo had slain her cousin. This turned to drops of joy that her husband lived. She was upset that Romeo had killed Archibald, but on the other hand, she was in joy. Why was she in joy? Because her husband, that is Romeo, he survived. Then came Freyr's tears, and they were together of grief for Romeo's banishment. And then there was fresh tears. Why? Now this tear is for Romeo's banishment, that Romeo was thrown out of his place, that is Verona. Now what are the important factors and key points over here? First, Tybalt hated all Montagues. So when he saw that Romeo was on the street, in the street with all his friends, he indulged in that fight. Mercutio was killed, he fought and he was killed. When he was killed, Mercutio was friend of Romeo. Romeo could not keep his temper, and thus he slain Tybalt. He couldn't keep his temper, and then he killed Tybalt. And then what happened? This news broke out. The prince who was related to Mercutio, he came, and also Lady Capulet had come. She wanted full justice, and she was very much grief-stricken. So she pleaded against her own son-in-law and called him a murderer. He was called the murderer. Okay. When the news reached Juliet, she was very upset. First, she was upset because her cousin was dead and he was killed by Romeo, and this made her say that Romeo is a beautiful tyrant. Important, you have to use these words in quotes. He was a ravenous dove, and he was a lamb with a wolf's nature. But she became later happy, thinking that whatsoever, her husband was still alive. So children, I'll just keep it till this much. In my next video, I shall continue with the next portion of Romeo and Juliet. Thank you.